Thermal inversion. The major components of photochemical smog, peroxyacetyl nitrate or PAN, is a combination of different criteria pollutants. PAN is the transporter of NO into rural regions and causes ozone formation in the global troposphere, which can decrease visibility especially in elevated places. The pollutants that come from sources mix with air. The mixed air normally rises to the atmosphere. In a normal cycle of thermal inversion, an unstable air mass and air constantly flow between warm and cool areas. This allows fumigation of the mixed air on higher elevation. Due to increased concentrations of pollutants during an inversion episode, temperatures increase with increasing altitude, and this disrupts the movement of the mixed air to a higher level since the warm inversion layer then acts as a cap, or a layer that forms stable air masses. Thermal inversion is also affected by weather conditions. The rain continues to fall and passes through the cold layer of air near the ground. As it moves through this final cold air mass, it becomes super cold, drops cold below freezing point without becoming solid. Intense thunderstorms and tornadoes are also associated with inversions because of the intense energy released after inversion blocks the normal convection patterns of a region. In addition, thermal inversions are natural events, so they are created with the surface in colder than the air above. Thermal inversion occurs when a layer of warm air settles over a layer of cooler air that lies near the ground. The warm air holds down the cool air and prevents pollutant from rising and scattering. Next is El Nino. El Nino is a normal climate pattern that describes unusual warming of surface waters in the eastern tropical Pacific Ocean, also known as the warm phase. So the opposite of it is La Nina, the cool phase, which is a pattern that describes the unusual cooling of the surface waters of the region. These phenomena are supposed to occur perennial and globally on one end of the equator, on the other. Widespread and severe changes in the climate. Rainfall increases drastically in Ecuador and northern Peru, contributing the coastal flooding erosion due to the convection above warm surface waters. Increased rains brings floods that may destroy property. On the other side of the world, El Nino brings droughts that threaten the supply of water and destruction of crops affecting agriculture. Stronger El Nino and La Nina events also disrupt global atmospheric circulation, bringing colder winters, unusually heavy rains, and flooding in desert areas, and other weather abnormalities. So aside from the physical damages caused by disasters, they also come with mental and emotional damage. Victims of disasters may suffer from trauma, depression, or anxiety because of experiencing loss caused by disasters. This is why climate change should not be perceived as an isolated issue, as it affects many aspects of human life. Environmental awareness, one of the main culprits of climate change, is increasing CO presence in the atmosphere coming from industrial and mobile sources. Shifting from fossil fuels as sources of energy to renewable energy resources like solar, wind, or hydropower is one way to decrease. So El Nino, it really affects the aspects of human life, and also in agriculture. As kung, di ba, ang El Nino is kanang tag-init. So, katong mga magsasaka maapektuhan ang ilang panginabuhi. Like, kanang mga humayan, mamarahan sa tubig. Then, also, the health of humans. Kanang uso karon sa tag-init is heat stroke tungod sa kainit sa panahon na ay mga matay nga tao because of the heat. So next is solar. Light bulbs is statistics. The generation of CO spaces that need air conditioning or heating should be sealed to ensure adequate insulation and energy efficiency. So, dapat nakasealed siya para ma-ensure ang iyang isolation and energy efficiency. Lighting emitting diode or LED bulbs are ideal to use because they lessen up to 80% of energy consumption compared with incandescent bulbs. So, we are familiar of the LED or light emitting diode. It is used it lessen up to 80% ng energy consumption compared sa incandescent bulbs kung atong gamiton. So there are ways to minimize the effects of climate change. Environmental efforts to address climate change should be done individually, collectively. Since the environment is contagious, the responsibility to care for it should also be shared not only locally but also regionally and globally. Countries should come together to adopt protocols and agreements so to help each other solve climate change. The Kyoto Protocol is an international agreement that extends the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change or UNFCCC, in which the Philippines is one of the signatories. The Montreal Protocol is another global agreement set to protect the stratospheric ozone layer by phasing out the production and consumption of ozone-depleting substances, or ODS. The protocol aims to help the ozone layer recuperate from the hole it has attained due to increasing presence of ODS in the atmosphere. It is signed by 197 countries, including the Philippines, or USEPA 2017. So this is the illustration of the eutrophication and global climate change. That would be all. Thank you.